Hey everyone, Chris Jeub here with Training Minds Ministry, here to train minds for action as mandated in 1 Peter 1:13. I am here with Josh Taylor, the creator and mastermind behind the incredibly popular Blimey Cow videos. How are you doing today, Josh?
I'm well, Chris. How are you doing today?
Hey, not too bad. Well, I'm glad you're coming out to the 4 Action Conference in January. I'm going to get going on that and ask you a couple of questions about it. But I bet a lot of people who are watching this video know about you, but I'm just going to run down a few statistics and things like that you've been doing. You run the weekly YouTube video series Messy Mondays. It's together with your little brother Jordan. It's pretty much a black tablecloth or backdrop of some sort, and you've been recording your little brother and his funny skits since 2005, with 3 to 5 minute clips on YouTube. You have uploaded 236 videos. You currently have 216,000 YouTube subscribers, and you have nearly 30 million video views. Josh, these are absolutely incredible numbers. Is this an accurate representation of your history?
Uh, yeah, that I feel like that feels like more of an accurate representation of like the last couple of years because before that nobody was really watching our stuff at all. And just within the last couple of years, when we kind of made a conscious decision to be intentional about making videos consistently, more than just kind of a thing we were doing for fun, like let's actually be serious about this. That's when things started to take off, and that was a little over 2 years ago.
What was it that all of a sudden it started taking off and went from almost an amateur fun thing to a professional, wow, we could actually turn this into something thing?
Yeah, well, in August of 2011, I approached Jordan, who had just finished his first year of college, and he was going into his second year, and he was transferring to a new school, so he had that going on. And Kelly and I, my wife, had been married for about a year, actually just at a year. I think we uploaded our first Messy Monday video like on our first anniversary. So I approached Jordan before all this. I approached him and said, "Hey, I have an idea for a show. We'll just take like a black bed sheet. We'll just do something simple. I've got this new camera. You can shoot nice video." Because Kelly and I had been looking into getting a camera. I wanted to get back into video stuff. She likes photography, so we're like, well, let's split the difference and we'll get a Canon that takes good video and takes good photos as well. So that's what we did, and I approached Jordan. I was like, let's just do a show. Let's do a simple like a video blog type show. We'll just kind of see what happens. We'll answer viewer questions and stuff like that, and just see how it goes. And he was really hesitant at first to agree to do like a weekly thing. He's like, I don't think we can maintain it. And I was like, I don't think we can either, but that's why we got to do it. Because I feel like that's because we had long talked about like getting back into doing videos and stuff, and I was like, the only way we're really ever going to do it is if we do it. So eventually he agreed, and we shot our first video. We shot maybe 10 or 15 before it ended up being, I think it was January of 2011. We released a video called 7 Lies About Homeschoolers that really resonated with the homeschool community, both in the States and abroad, in a way that we had no idea it was going to. And it kind of blew up, and now it's got like 1.5 million views, and our subscribers shot through the roof. And we were used to getting like, I mean, tens or hundreds of views per video, and now all of a sudden we were getting like tens of thousands per video. So, and ever since then, it's kind of just steadily increased in popularity and in viewership and subscribers. So yeah, like I was saying, it's been like a 2-year thing, like since we really kind of got started with what we're doing now.
Yeah, I can honestly say that I am one of your original fans, then, because the Jeub family has been watching you since before 2011.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I too noticed that you kind of discovered something, or discovered an audience that was waiting to discover you when you came out with the homeschool video. And the homeschool video, what was the name of it again?
7 Lies About Homeschoolers.
Right, and that's gotten like nearly 2 million views on it. It's just it went gangbusters, and homeschoolers started forwarding on to one another, and everyone became kind of fans of Blimey Cow. but you already had that consistent weekly video every week that you kind of rode a tide, and that is now becoming a significant revenue stream for you.
Yeah, pretty. It's becoming more consistent. Yeah. You know, you make a little bit of money from YouTube, and we're looking into sponsorships now. We've got some cool partners that are very flexible with us, and don't expect us to do things a very certain way. If we say, hey, we've got a funny idea for a way we want to promote you guys, can we try it? They'll, you know, without us even having to tell them what we want to do, they'll give us the okay. You know, so I appreciate those kind of relationships. So yeah, we're finding ways to make money, but doing it in a way that we're comfortable with, because yeah, there's I was talking to a guy the other day who was like, well, you know, if you wanted to just grab a bottle of Coke and just take a sip and go, oh, that tasted delicious, you know, you could be making like a ton of money. But I was like, no, I'm not about that. And he was like, I know you're not. That's why this is going to be a little more difficult for you guys, but you'll be able to do it. So
yeah. Well, you're a speaker for our 4Action conference, and I wanted to just plug that a bit. It's a 3-day conference at Focus on the Family in Colorado Springs, January 2nd through the 4th. We are literally hanging out with you, as well as several other speakers, people who have actively taken action in life and are making a big impact in the world with apparently simple tools. Now, Josh, your simple tools are YouTube and basic film editing. You mentioned a Canon camera. These aren't huge investments that people need to make to get involved into YouTube video making. Is there anything magical, really, about being a YouTube sensation? YouTube sensation.
No, not really. I'm sorry?
Yeah, you're a YouTube sensation.
Oh, okay. Okay. You know, it comes down. I mean, obviously, there's going to be like an X factor to it that you can't really explain about, like how all of a sudden you kind of shoot off into where like a lot of people are paying attention to what you're doing, and so you know, there's not like a specific formula for it, obviously, but I mean, there's some very basic ingredients that are important and that you have to have. And I mean, I whenever people approach me about, like, you know, how do I make videos and get people to see them the way you guys do, and they, you know, they want to try like these gimmicks and do these things and that, I'm like, dude, just find something you like to do and do it consistently. I never thought that our videos would become what they are, because, and I even had written up like 1 week before we did that homeschool video that kind of shot us up and started now, where we have a lot of different groups that, not just homeschoolers that watch us, but a lot of different groups that watch us. I had written a blog post right like a week before we released that homeschool video, just basically saying, you know, people ask us a lot why we don't have more views on our videos, because they seem to like our stuff, and I'm just telling them, like, we cater to this one kind of group of people. It's the kids who kind of grew up as Christian homeschoolers, and now they're kind of getting a little bit older, and they're thinking, you know, maybe there's more to life and there's more to God than what I've always thought. And that's gonna that was kind of our audience, and I was like, I don't think there's that many people out there. I don't think that's a big audience. And then we did that homeschool video, which was kind of like the epitome of all of those ideas, just basically to say, hey, there's, you know, homeschoolers aren't all the way that we're portrayed. We think we do. We're not sheltered crazy people. And it blew up, and it was like this weird moment of just like kind of sitting back and saying, wait a minute, if there is an audience for that kind of humor and those kind of thoughts, then our videos are going to be pretty cool, because and they're going to be watched by a lot of people, because I can speak to that crowd. I don't think I can speak for that crowd, but I think I can speak to that crowd. I know the kinds of things that they deal with, and the issues they struggle with, and ideas that they wrestle with. So it's been a fun ride. It's cool to have an idea and then, like, within a couple of days have it out there and have it released. So if there's something maybe I'm struggling with, or something I see within myself that I don't particularly like, then I'm like, well, why am I that way? Why do I do this? Yeah. and I can start wrestling with it and figure it out as I'm writing it out, and then release it and basically be like, here is this is us. This is all us and all of our imperfections and everything. And for people to be like, I'm the same way. I have those same problems. These are the things I struggle with too. So it's just been a lot of fun. I honestly don't even remember what your original question was now, but yeah.
Well, I think I mean, hey man, you're rolling. This is great because your videos are extremely funny and they're really well. You use satire very well. I mean, it's almost like sometimes it's almost offensive, like, oh, I can't believe he's saying that. But then you know that you are trying to push a truth through of something that you've struggled with, and perhaps it relates to me as the viewer. I think that's an incredible use of satire. So yeah, you're doing a great job, Josh. I love your stuff. Is there a deeper purpose that you're doing these videos for than just having fun?
Oh yeah, it definitely didn't start that way, but as it, I mean, we've definitely we've had to sit down and kind of assess and say, what are we doing? Like, what? Yeah. There's obviously an audience for this, but why is there an audience for this? Like, what is there? And so I guess it's been like really, it's scary and it's encouraging at the same time, because I just always thought, man, I'm the only crazy person who just sits around all day and thinks, man, this world is messed up, and there's so many problems with it, and there's so many questions that I have about everything, about like the way politics are run, and the way God is, and why things happen, and why this and why that. And how you deal with these things. Yeah. So even to kind of go back just a little bit, you were saying that like sometimes the satire can even border on like offensive. It really, I never mean it to be offensive in a way that is hurtful. It's more like a lot of times we'll get flack whenever we release videos that relate to Christianity, and people, people will get into debates in the comment section about whether we're Christians or whether we're atheists or whatever. And it's always funny, but I just always like I'll think about like I think about something a certain way, and I know that it's wrong, and so I think, well, what does this say about God? If what I think is actually true, what does this say about God? And since I know I'm wrong in the way that I'm processing something, then my view of God must be incorrect. So what we'll do in the videos then, and just in this example, is say, hey, this is how God must be. If this is how we live our lives, this must be how we think God is. Otherwise, we're hypocrites. And people get offended by that. Like, hey, you can't portray God that way. It's like, we do that every day. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I guess just as a quick example, just, the way that we compartmentalize God to like 15 minutes, people talk about having your devotions or your quiet time or whatever. So we'll do a video where, God is just, saying something to the effect of like, hey, make sure you get your 15 minutes in with me. This is why I really need, just like really like off the cuff kind of stuff. And people, get offended, but it's like, no, this is how we really, and this is how I grew up thinking about this. Yeah. That God just is this guy who, well, got to get my 15 minutes in with him, and then I'm good for the day, and I can go do what I want and feel good about myself.
I remember that video. It's hilarious because
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I like doing that kind of stuff. I like doing stuff that I can watch back and say, almost as reminders to myself to say, I need to make sure I don't think that way because I know I'm prone to think that way. Mm-hmm. So I guess like you were asking about a greater purpose. I just want to make people think about things, maybe in a way they didn't think about before. So a lot of times people will write in and they'll talk about how we're pushing an agenda or doing this, and I'm like, no, I feel like we hardly ever actually tell you what to think. We always just ask questions. And you want to take it to a natural conclusion, and maybe you don't like that conclusion, but we're just asking questions. So that's always just been my biggest purpose, because I like to ask questions. I like to consider things, analyze them, and so if I can help cause other people to do that in a constructive way, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, boy, I really identify with you because I've been on my own since 2005, and I have. I sometimes feel like I'm making this up as I go along. Actually, I always feel like I'm making this up as I go along. And opportunities come up, and you take advantage of them, and you move along. And about the criticism, golly, the people who know me on this video, maybe they don't know me, but I've been a Christian since I was 17 years old. I'm very sold out for Jesus. I've got 16 children, for crying out loud. You can't be not sold out. And boy, I don't know about my faith. But still, people question my faith and my purpose and what I'm doing. And maybe I have this secret agenda, and it is kind of laughable. That's why to tell you the truth, I love your satire, because it is something to almost make fun of, and then the truth kind of settles to the top that, yeah, we're all in this together. We're all thinking this through. We're all trying to walk the walk the best we can. And man, your Messy Mondays shows kind of the messy side of life. I think that's awesome. Yeah, let's talk about like your friends. I've gotten to know your videos over the years. Every once in a while, we get kind of a picture of your life in Tennessee, and I would say that you are successful. You're doing something of purpose and of meaning. But do you feel like your age group? Well, I should ask, how old are you, Josh?
I'm 25.
Okay, so 25 years old. We're aiming for the 16 to 24-year-old group, even though we're going to have some older people and some younger people there at the conference. Do you feel like they, in general, are sort of drifting, trying to figure out life for themselves? Comment on that. What do you think?
My friends personally, or
yeah, your friends personally, or in general too, I guess.
Well, you had mentioned maybe some of the things that you would ask me about, and I really thought about this question a lot because I've got a great group of friends, and a lot of all the people that you see on Messy Mondays, those are all of our friends.
Yeah.
And the ones that you don't see are the ones that are helping with scripts. Mm-hmm. And help me come up with ideas throughout the week. Like I was saying, we've done this for like 8 years now. So for 8 years, I've had friends like, oh, we should do a Blimey Cow video about this or a Blimey Cow video about that. Back when nobody period was watching our videos. It was just cool that we were making videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if nobody was watching them, it was just fun. It was new. So a lot of our friends are kind of invested to some kind of degree in our success because it feels like a shared success. Like, oh, our friends are doing this really cool thing and we're a part of it too. Uh-huh. So I don't really see much drifting. If anything, I feel like right now, like my 20 as my 25-year-old, my friends are all kind of including myself, are in various types of transition because I have two of my best friends are about to have a child. Or people are getting married. Everything is changing. So anytime we all hang out, we're all kind of like holding our breath. Like, man, it's not going to be like this for much longer. You guys are getting married. You guys are having a kid. You guys are doing videos that are getting more popular by the week. So it's kind of just this time where everybody is anticipating, and you don't really know what the next thing is. But that's kind of where we all find ourselves. So it's really exciting, and it's a struggle for me to make sure I'm enjoying every moment and not just constantly thinking, oh, tomorrow or a week from now or a year from now, this is what I want to be doing, or just to really sit back and enjoy. Like, man, what's going on now is cool, and my friends are great, and we're all having fun, and I know that in 10 or 20 years I'm going to look back and be like, man, that was a really cool time. There's a lot of neat stuff going on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You are going to be one of several speakers, and I love what you're saying here because the speakers that are, I'm going to list them here, who's going to be joining you. James O'Keefe, another YouTube sensation. He's our keynote. Andrew Pudua, Tom Minnery, Travis Hirsch. There's some others. But what is exciting is that you all are going to be there for 3 days and not just coming in and speaking and then flying home just to let us know what you know and then leave. But you're going to be there along with the other speakers and be teaching what you know, but also be learning along with everyone else. And that's actually a very unique idea of a conference. And I'm excited for it, to see you there and people could actually ask specific questions of you. But you will also be learning from the others. Can you share with me what you're going to be speaking on at the 4Action Conference?
Yeah, well, it's gonna. I won't give it all away, but it's gonna kind of be somewhat of an extension of the things I've been talking about. Just kind of how you build a trustworthy brand or even a product that people are excited about, and doing it with very few tools, with very little money. Kind of just like how we did. I'll kind of just run through, the things I've learned in the couple of years that this has really kind of taken off, and I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to not only share the things that I've learned through this kind of messy, pun intended, process, but also to pick the brains of other people that are going to be there, and it's fun kind of realizing, oh, I guess I'm kind of somewhat of an entrepreneur. I didn't really know that, but I guess that's true of almost anybody that ends up being an entrepreneur. You just kind of find yourself in the middle of it one day when, people are calling saying, hey, I'll give you money to do this. And I'm like, wait, how did I build this thing that is like that? So that kind of thing. And then also finding, I want to really emphasize the word trustworthy, as I said earlier, making sure that the opportunities that you take, and the things you do are not only improving your brand, but are improving your relationships with the people that watch your videos, in my case, or participate in whatever kind of brand or product that you are creating. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody else. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. It's going to be a good time. I'm really excited.
Yeah, my kids are really looking forward to meeting you in person too. And you're
I
not
can't wait to meet them either.
All of my kids, but. And you're not coming alone. You're actually bringing something with you. Who are you bringing?
I'm bringing my significant other, my wife, Kelly.
Awesome. Well, Wendy is very much looking forward to meeting her too. So it'll be fun. For those of you tuning into this video, take the time to visit trainingminds.org/action and seriously consider making your trip out to Colorado Springs. It's going to be at Focus on the Family during peak ski season, I may add, so it might be a good idea to be there. January 2nd through the 4th, 2014. We want everyone at the conference to have access to the speakers, so we're capping this at only 90 attendees. The entire conference with access to these incredible speakers is only $179, and we're feeding you, too, with catered food at Focus on the Family. Seats are limited and they are filling up, so get on trainingminds.org/action and get registered today. Josh, this has been a wonderful video. Nice chatting with you for these last 20 minutes. And God bless you on your good work, and we will see you in January.
Thank you, Chris. I'm really excited to meet you, like I said. Thank you.
All right, God bless.